Your brain is stuck in the Stone Age, and it's making you do incredibly stupid things every single day. Here are 8 ways your caveman wiring is secretly running your life and ruining it. Number 1. You catch yourself practically longing to collapse face first onto your desk at 2 p.m., even though you got a full 8 hours of sleep. Or maybe you're wide awake at 3 a.m., just lying there staring at the ceiling. That doesn't mean you're broken or bizarre. It's your ancient brain trying to follow the sleep patterns humans used for thousands of years. Our ancestors didn't crash for one long, unbroken stretch of sleep like we do now. They'd snooze for a few hours, wake up in the middle of the night, and then drift back to sleep. In that awake window, they'd scan for predators, grab a little something to eat, or work on making more babies. This rhythm was called biphasic sleep, and it was completely normal. They'd also take naps during the day, especially when it was scorching hot, because trying to hunt in 100-degree heat was a good way to end up as someone else's meal. That chopped-up sleep schedule is part of what kept them alive. It's a lot harder to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger if you're waking up every few hours to make sure nothing's lurking nearby. But now we have jobs that demand we show up at 9 a.m. on the dot, and bosses who assume taking a nap means you're slacking off. We've got streetlights, smartphones, and neighbors who think 2 a.m. is an ideal time to rehearse on their drum kit. So when you're struggling to keep your eyes open after lunch, that's your inner caveman brain recalling the time of day humans used to sleep. And when you suddenly feel oddly alert at 3 a.m., that's the same brain wondering why you're not up patrolling for wolves. Number 2. You're walking down the street, spot a bunch of people staring up at the sky, and of course you tilt your head back too, feeling a bit ridiculous. You don't even have a clue what you're supposed to be looking at. Maybe it's a bird. Maybe it's Superman. Maybe it's absolutely nothing. Yet there you are, neck stretched, blending right in with the sky-gazing crowd. That's your herd instinct flipping on. Your brain is basically going, if everyone else is doing this, I should probably do it too, or something bad might happen. Back when we were sprinting around in loincloths, that reflex is what helped us survive. If your entire tribe suddenly bolted, you didn't pause to get the backstory. You ran. Because the person who stayed behind to figure out why everyone was running usually got eaten by whatever they were running from. Sticking with the group meant safety. It meant shared meals, protection, and avoiding becoming a saber-toothed tiger snack. Your brain literally rewards you with a little dopamine buzz when you fit in. That's nature's way of saying, nice work not being the odd one out who gets abandoned. But now that same wiring makes you do silly things like buying GameStop stock because Reddit hyped it, or rocking those ugly shoes everyone suddenly loves, or trusting an obviously fake news story just because your aunt posted it and it racked up 50 likes. Your inner caveman can't tell the difference between follow the tribe to the watering hole and follow random people on TikTok doing a risky stunt. It only understands that standing out equals danger, so you go along with the crowd even when it makes absolutely no logical sense. Number 3. Someone holds the door open for you, and suddenly you feel like you owe them your future firstborn. Or a coworker brings you a coffee, and you're instantly running the math on how to repay this supposed life debt. You're not being overdramatic. That's your ancient brain freaking out about tribe politics. For our ancestors, returning favors wasn't just polite, it was a matter of staying alive. I share some of my mammoth meat today, you hand over some of your berries tomorrow, and we both make it. If you clung to your stash like a selfish jerk, you'd be licking ice for dinner when winter hit. So your brain evolved to feel genuinely uneasy when someone does something for you. It's like an internal itch you can't quite reach until you've evened the score. That pressure is what kept the tribe running smoothly. Everyone pitched in for everyone else, or the whole group was doomed. Today, marketers weaponize that wiring against you like it's their full-time mission. Because it is. You snag a free sample at Costco and suddenly feel compelled to buy a 10-pound vat of pickles you'll never actually finish. A car dealer hands you a free coffee and now somehow you're seriously thinking about that overpriced sedan. Someone does you the tiniest favor and your brain reacts like they dragged you from a burning building and now you owe them your life. You end up agreeing to absurd requests from people who once just lent you a pen. You buy stuff you don't even like simply because the salesperson was really friendly. It's simple. Your Stone Age brain can't distinguish between this person shared food so I won't starve and this person handed me a free keychain at a trade show. Everyone's brain just runs on the rule that debts must be repaid or you'll be kicked out of the tribe and left to die alone. Number 4. You step into a pitch-black room and suddenly your heart starts pounding. Or you glare suspiciously at some strange foreign dish like it's about to leap off the plate and attack you. That's not you being childish. That's your brain working overtime to stop your species from going extinct. For our ancestors, unknown basically translated to probably dead. That rustling in the bushes might have been just the wind. Or it might have been something with a mouthful of sharp teeth. The people who assumed it was just the wind got eaten. The ones who bolted lived long enough to pass their jumpy, paranoid genes down to you. That odd berry no one recognized could have been delicious. Or it could have made you poop yourself to death. Our ancestors didn't have WebMD to consult. They had trial and error usually meant dying. So your brain evolved to treat anything unfamiliar as a potential murder attempt, because most of the time it was. When you face something new, your brain literally dumps stress hormones into your system. It's shouting, danger. Stick with what you know. The familiar doesn't eat you. But today, that same built-in alarm system has you ordering the exact same thing at the same restaurant for a decade. It's why you drag your feet on trying that new app everyone is obsessed with, or why you'd rather cling to a job you despise than take a chance on something different. Your caveman brain can't tell the difference between a hidden predator in the dark and an unfamiliar dish at the new Thai place. It just operates on the rule that different equals dangerous. So you cling to the familiar even when it's boring you out of your mind. Number 5. You know that feeling when someone else is driving and your foot is pressing an invisible brake in the passenger seat? Or when your perfectly organized day falls apart and all you want to do is scream? That's your inner control-obsessed caveman brain throwing a tantrum. Our ancestors who managed to control their surroundings are the ones who survived. The people who built sturdier shelters, stored their food carefully, and actually planned their hunts made it through the winter. The ones who just shrugged and went with the flow turned into fossils. Control was the line between eating and being eaten, between staying warm and freezing solid. Your brain pays you in dopamine for being in control because control once meant staying alive. That drive is what turned us into inventors and problem solvers. We didn't just accept that fire was terrifying. We learned how to master it. We didn't just cross our fingers and hope food appeared. We started planting it. But now your brain slaps this life or death need for control onto everything. A traffic jam makes your brain react like you're cornered by predators. A meeting running long feels to your brain like the start of a famine. Someone loading the dishwasher wrong makes your survival instincts flare up like they're sabotaging your shelter. You end up trying to control stuff that absolutely does not matter. The weather, what other people think of you, or which direction the toilet paper hangs. Your ancient brain can't tell the difference between I need to manage this fire or will freeze and I need to manage this PowerPoint or else. It only understands that losing control once meant death. So you micromanage, overplan, and freak out about things you're powerless to change. All because your brain still thinks you're one lost grip away from extinction. Number 6. You stumble on $100 lying on the street and think, nice, that's cool. But if you misplace $100 from your wallet, you'll stew over it for weeks, mentally cursing the universe and plotting revenge. That's not you being over the top. That's your brain reacting to every loss like it's a death sentence. For our ancestors, losing something was way more dangerous than simply not discovering something new. If they misplaced their only spear, they basically became dinner. If they lost their stored food, they were about to get an up-close lesson in starvation. Missing out on extra food was disappointing, but losing what you already had could mean death. So your brain evolved to go into full panic mode over losses. It literally makes losing feel about twice as painful as gaining feels good. That's nature's way of yelling, do not lose the thing that's keeping you alive. This wiring kept our ancestors from making reckless bets with their resources. They wouldn't gamble a guaranteed food supply for the chance at maybe getting more. The sting of possible loss kept them careful and breathing. But now that same instinct pushes you into doing dumb things. You'll cling to a crashing stock because selling it feels like admitting you failed. You'll hang on to an ugly shirt you never wear because tossing it feels like a loss. You'll stick with a dead-end job because the fear of losing steady pay beats the hope of something better. Your caveman brain can't distinguish between if I lose this spear I might starve, and if I lose this $20 bet I'll just feel crappy. It only understands that loss equals danger. So you cling, you dodge risks, and you let fear of losing call the shots in your life. Number 7. You spot someone driving a nicer car than yours and instantly feel like trash. Or you scroll through Instagram and start wondering why everyone else's life seems better than your own. That's your status-obsessed monkey brain doing what it does best, making you miserable. Back in the tribe, status had nothing to do with looking cool. It had everything to do with staying alive. High status meant first pick of the food, better chances at mating, and people actually paid attention when you said, hey, maybe don't poke that bear. Low status meant eating leftovers, failing to reproduce, and no one really caring whether you made it or not. Your brain literally doses you with feel-good chemicals when your status rises and floods you with stress hormones when it drops, because status once equaled survival. That pressure pushed our ancestors to sharpen their hunting, tool-making, storytelling, anything that made them more valuable to the group. All that competition made individuals better, and the whole tribe benefited. But now your brain slaps this life-or-death status panic onto the dumbest things. Someone has more followers than you and your brain reacts like they're stealing your food supply. A coworker gets a promotion and it feels like you're being kicked out of the tribe. A neighbor installs a pool and your survival instincts flare up like you're losing territory. You shell out money you don't have to impress people you don't even like. You post carefully edited half-truths on social media. You feel honestly crushed because someone else's vacation looked better than yours. Your ancient brain still believes your survival hinges on your rank. It can't tell the difference between low status means no food and low status means fewer LinkedIn connections. So you chase status like your life depends on it, because a long time ago it actually did. Number 8. Someone cuts in line and your brain immediately jumps to violent daydreams. Or a coworker swipes your idea and you spend the next week scheming their destruction. That's not just you being petty. That's your brain treating unfairness like a direct threat to your survival. Because once upon a time it was. In a tribe of about 30 people, Fairness wasn't some feel-good ideal. It was literally life or death. The guy stockpiling food while everyone else starved was actively killing the tribe. The slacker who never hunted but still ate was stealing resources from the people actually doing the work. Your brain evolved to go full nuclear mode whenever it senses unfairness. It drenches you in rage because unfairness used to have the power to wreck the entire group, and without the group, everybody dies. That instinct is what kept our ancestors in line. No one wanted to be the cheat who got exiled, or worse, the cheat whose skull got smashed in by furious tribe members. Fairness was survival. Catching cheaters was survival. Cracking down on unfairness was survival. But now that same wiring makes you flip out over stuff that isn't actually life-threatening. Someone takes 2 free samples instead of 1, and your brain reacts like they're stealing your kid's dinner. Some billionaire buys another yacht while people are struggling, and your fairness alarm goes berserk. Your boss plays favorites, and it feels almost like your life is being threatened. You can't drop minor insults because your brain thinks restoring fairness is a survival mission. You spiral over injustices you have zero power to fix. You get physically worked up just reading about unfairness on the internet. Your ancient brain can't distinguish between this unfairness could wipe out the tribe and this unfairness is infuriating but ultimately harmless. It only remembers that unfairness once meant death. So you rage, you stew, and you just can't move on. All because your brain still thinks the tribe's survival depends on everyone getting an equal share of the mammoth meat. I'll be making more videos like this, so hit subscribe to catch the next ones.